Hey guys, JJ back here. This time I'm going to break down the bracket for you, go game by game. I'm going to chat on some of the things I like. This video will not more or less be from a betting perspective. These are going to be called hunches, what I like from the eye test, and this is not going to be an analytical video in that regard. I might give some tidbits here and there on some things, but this is really for your individual who's filling out brackets, which I hope it's a lot of you. I mean, a lot of these sites are offering them for free. I know one of them in particular that is doing this as well for free would be BetDSI. Now they're having I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but they're having a $1 million bracket contest. Well, it's free to sign up. Just sign up and you'll get a free ticket into it. You could even enter the bracket I'm about to give you into it, and I hope we all win $1 million. But it's free to sign up. You can also bet offshore there as well. I'm not sure what sportsbook you're using, but you can bet there, and if you use promo code JJ, my name, uh, you can get a full 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. The free $1,000. Again, I don't know what books you're using, but look, BetDSI has been paying out winners for well over 20 years. Top rated in the betting reviewing sites. One of the fastest paying out sports books there is. Really not much competition there. Really love them in that aspect. You can literally bet on everything under the sun from there, even live betting. And again, new members, if you sign up with promo code JJ, I'll even give you a link below, a link in the video, to sign up, free $1,000 because if you deposit 1,000, they'll match it for 1,000. So, again, it's a free $1,000. And you can sign up and not even deposit, and they'll still give you a free $1 million entry into this bracket tournament that they're doing where the winner gets $1 million. Look, just because you don't live in Vegas or, wherever you're dealing now, making sports bets, doesn't mean you have to stay there, have to bet where you are. Definitely highly advise BetDSI. Really like them myself. Definitely use them a lot. And look, at the end of the day, it's free money. I mean, there's no sports book in Jersey that's going to give you that, even if you live in Jersey. So the promo code is very favorable. Just use promo code JJ. You'll get that 1,000. If there's any issues with that, just shoot me a message. Let me know. I'll make sure I take care of you over there. They're good guys over there, and I want to make sure that you guys are getting bonuses. I spent some time to get you guys, a pretty good bonus. I know there's a lot of people listening, and I know that some people, look, nobody likes to lose, so I wanted to make sure I was getting you a good intro bonus to BetDSI, which is very reputable and like I said, you get the free bracket too, which I'm going to go through here. So ultimately, go to BetDSI, sign up, use promo code JJ or the link below that I have set for you in the video. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive right in here. Okay, so look, Duke's going to play. I got to see, I got to get my fucking eyes checked. Duke's going to play. Is it North Dakota State or North Coastal Carolina, whatever the fuck that is. Ultimately, going to picking Duke. I mean, let's not be silly here, folks. Okay, so VCU is going to be playing UCF. This is one of the rare ones where line opened and moved in reverse, where VCU opened as a favorite, but now UCF's the favorite. UCF's favored because they're a lot longer than this team. There's also some injury concerns with VCU. Again, from an analytical perspective, this would not be a game I would actually bet. But if I'm picking a team to win here, definitely going to be going UCF. This team should be able to give VCU fits. But again, I don't like it here. It's not really a game that I'd really favorably bet, but definitely one that fits the bill there. Now, Mississippi State and Liberty. Liberty has gotten quite a lot of public attention. And I will say this, for anybody who's competing in brackets, in bracket tournaments, maybe with a few people, maybe with 30 people, maybe with 40 people, maybe with 10,000 people, maybe it's the $1 million challenge that BetDSI is offering that's free. Either way, you want to know your competition. Now, this is one of the popular 12-5 seeds where a lot of people are picking Liberty, because there's a public bias on Liberty. People like them. They're a very good scoring team. They're very efficient. But what I like to do in these spots is I typically like to, unless it's legitimately justified, I usually like to fade the public here because I think you're going to get a lot more people going with this 12 seed than a typical 12 seed. And I think it opens up the door for you to take Mississippi State here. For that reason, I'm going to go fade the public here. I'm going to go Mississippi State to advance. I know it seems like it's chalky, but in actuality, there's a lot of people than your typical average bracket person who fills out brackets is going to be picking Liberty in this spot. So going to hedge it. Going to go reverse there and pick them. Now, St. Louis, Virginia Tech. This is an interesting one for a few different reasons. You got a team in St. Louis that plays really good defense, a team that at Virginia Tech that scores really well. it's just for me, St. Louis doesn't score enough to keep up with a team like Virginia Tech, and I know that they're going to play good defense, but Virginia Tech is so good offensively. Look, I'm going to have upsets, plenty of upsets that I pick on here to make myself different. This isn't going to be the place to do it, so it's going to be Virginia Tech for me there. Now Maryland's going to either play the winner of this Belmont Temple game. I know that Maryland doesn't get a lot of public love, but whoever they play, they're most likely going to be a 4.5 or a 5 point favorite, and I do believe they will come out on top with whichever team they end up playing, because they are going to be much better than them. So I'm going to just go ahead and pick them. Now this LSU Yale matchup is another one of those where people have some criticism for the LSU side, and some of it's well deserved. I can't discount that, but what I will tell you is that Yale can score. I mean, Yale can get up and down the floor. Both these teams play very fast. It's going to be an extremely frantic pace. Um, and the thing that I struggle with is Yale plays in the Ivy. They don't really go up against teams that really play at this pace that LSU is going to bring. And look, don't get me wrong, LSU does play. They're used to it. They're just not used to being at that pace defensively. I really think they're going to struggle to stop LSU. And look, Yale could win, but Yale will have to score a ton of points to win. Yeah, I've watched so many LSU games this year, and I've been burned by them a few times myself betting. They have so many different weapons to score from. It'd be tough to imagine Yale coming in here beating them. Despite the hype they have, I'm going to go ahead and pick LSU here. So I know they've been a little chalky to begin with, but I can promise you things will get different. So we have Louisville, Minnesota. Now for me, you're going to find it rare when you get a 7 and a 10 where it's actually a 5.5 point spread. It's one of the biggest spreads I can remember for a 7-10. But look, you got Louisville's been one of the unluckiest teams in college basketball. Minnesota's been on more or less the lucky side for certain parts of their wins. You could argue they shouldn't even be in this tournament. So look, for me, it's Louisville without a doubt. And now 215, I'm not going to get here and go crazy with you and tell you, oh look, I'm an MVC guy. I love the Mountain. I love the Mountain Valley, but Missouri Valley Conference. But look, this is just not a spot where you really make any crazy changes. So now you might be looking at it and go 8 picks, 8 chalk. Wow, so diverse. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Certain things will change here because I'm going to. So, like for instance, this Duke UCF, for instance, as if I'm going to pick UCF. This Duke UCF matchup is again just an awful matchup for UCF. I think it's crazy to have Duke losing any point earlier than right here for various reasons. So. Just a heads up there. I think a lot of people are going to pick Duke anyway, but I'm just saying that I know that the people are like, oh, you got to fade Duke if you're going to win your bracket tournaments. Well, not really, because if Duke wins, you're going to need them in your bracket. So don't be silly. Okay, so Mississippi State, Virginia Tech. Tech's just a better team much better team. So I'm going to take Tech there. Now, this game will be an interesting one to say the least, but let's scroll down. LSU, Maryland. Again, Maryland is a bit overrated. I know that they'll probably get over this Belmont Temple hump, but we're going to go ahead and go with LSU. Again, the firepower, again. Louisville, Michigan State. Here's where the first upset's going to come. I think Michigan State goes down right here. Again, this Louisville team is well coached. Chris Mack coming from Xavier. This is a good team. They play good defense. They shoot very well. They have a star in Jordan Nwora. I think that Louisville is going to be a bit tough for Michigan State to overcome, and ultimately, I think the spread's going to be a lot smaller than people think. If these two get here, I think the spread's going to wind up being about 4 favor Michigan State. So I think that there's going to be a lot of sharp money that comes in on Louisville, and ultimately, I think Louisville prevails there. Okay, now, but again, these aren't betting perspectives. These aren't like you might see and go, oh, you pick Louisville in this matchup, so I'm just going to take Louisville plus the points. No. This is pure hunches. I'm not being analytical about this. To a certain extent, I am, but don't look at this blindly and go, oh, I must bet Louisville because that line might come out. It might be Michigan State -3, 3.5, and then boom, I'm pounding Michigan State. So, just something to look at. And for instance, like I gave you 4 of what I think the line's going to be, but I don't like 4. I mean, the line would have to be like 6.5 or 7 for me to like it in that scenario. But if it's 3.5, Michigan State is going to be some solid value there. But regardless, you got to be diverse in these brackets. So I'm going to be diverse, picking Louisville in that spot. So then you're going to have a Louisville LSU matchup. Now Louisville playing in the ACC, you got to keep in mind 3 number 1 seeds in the ACC. It shows you how much respect they have. Louisville's not far behind these teams. I think Louisville outdoes LSU here. I'm going to go ahead and throw Louisville right there. Now Duke, Virginia Tech again. More ACC teams. This conference has just been so good. There's so many good teams in this conference. But look, Virginia Tech could give them fits. with their defense, forcing Duke to shoot threes. Virginia Tech's defense typically will allow people or opponents to shoot open threes or to get open threes, and Duke is very bad at shooting threes, so it might not work out in their favor, but ultimately going to go Duke, and then Duke ultimately in the Final Four. Surprise, surprise, right? Okay, so we scroll down, and, okay, so not even going to entertain this idea. We'll go Gonzaga. So Syracuse, Baylor. Again, it's another one of the scenarios. Everybody's picking Syracuse because of that long zone, and maybe Baylor doesn't see it that often, and battles coming back for Syracuse. But again, you gotta pick spots where you're going to be different. Where are you going to be different? Pick your spots. It might be minor. I don't think it matters who wins this game. They're going to lose anyway in the next matchup. But ultimately, I want to be different in any phase I can be. I think more or less in a game that's a coin flip, you're going to get about 65 to 70% of people that pick Syracuse. So give me Baylor here to be a little different. Now, Marquette, Murray State. I think Murray State is quite the popular pick, again, with the public. So again, you have to weigh the 12-5 matchup here. Is it worth that? Is it worth going overboard here? And I think that I'm going to go with no. Now, when we talk about seedings in this round, and I should have did this before, round of 64, only 8 2 seeds have lost, and one 16 seed has lost, obviously Virginia last year. You're going to have to pick 1 13 or 14 upset to win in the entire bracket. Basically 18% of these guys make it out of this round. There's been a lot of upsets with 12 seeds. 12 seeds have won at least one game 26 of the 30 years. And 9 seeds have won half the time versus 8 seeds, so it's really a coin flip there. A lot of these stats are coming from RJ Bell, by the way. Now, as it relates to this matchup, so obviously I need to pick a few 12s, or I need to pick at least one 12, because again, a 12 has won at least once in 26 or 30 years. So I'm not going to dive here, though. I'm going to take Marquette. I know that Murray State's getting a lot of popularity. You got 2 studs. That's going to be a very fun game to watch. You got a lottery pick coming out of Murray State and Marquette's. Got Jordan as well. Oh, excuse me, it's Marcus Howard from Marquette. Now, like I said, the thing is that I could take Murray State here, but again, it's not really going to be that different because a lot of people are going to be taking Murray State. So I'm going to pick my spots, and it's not going to be that one. Now, FSU, Vermont. I know that Vermont's been a popular pick against the spread when the line opened, but again, this isn't a betting thing. This is really like a feel thing. I do believe Vermont could pull the upset here, or they could lose by 40. With that in mind, this is going to be a spot where I pick an upset. So I'm going to pick Florida State to go down here to Vermont. Now, again, this isn't an analytical play. This is more or less, I know Florida State, they will either lose straight up or they will just destroy this team. So for me, I'll take my chance. They'll be a little different. I'll go ahead and play Vermont. Now, my opinion, I don't really care who wins this game. Arizona State, St. John's, Buffalo is so fucking good. So we're going to go ahead and take Buffalo. They've had a tremendous year. They brought back a lot of starters from last year. This team is filled with depth. They shoot the 3 ball. They play at a crazy fast tempo. They play tremendous defense. Really love them. You'll hear a lot of the blow fest will continue, or the blowjob fest will continue for me talking about Buffalo. Now, Texas Tech, Northern Kentucky. I'm not going to get too silly here. This is not a spot I really want to get crazy. Northern Kentucky is a very fast team. They play very efficient offense. They're not very good defensively. They will be hitting a roadblock when they play Texas Tech, number 1 defense in the country. So let me go ahead and play Texas Tech. Now, Nevada, Florida. Nevada, Florida. Florida is not getting near enough love as I would think they would be in this spot. I understand why Nevada's favored, and I understand Nevada's had a great year. This wouldn't really be a game I'd really like to bet unless the line was favorable. But in a coin flip spot, in a spot where I could be a little different, a lot of people are going to take Nevada here. I'm going to go ahead and take Florida. Florida's been an unlucky team. They have a lot of good tournaments characteristics about them. They play very good defense. They shoot the 3 ball well. They slow the game down. There's a lot of good things about them. They're long. So ultimately, going to go ahead and take Florida here. As for Michigan, Montana, won't even entertain this. Montana's had a great year, but Michigan will probably be too much for them. So I'm going to go ahead there. Now let's go back up to the top, Gonzaga, Baylor. Now I'm not in love with Gonzaga, but I don't see them losing at Baylor though. So go ahead and advance them there. Let me move my dumbass head out of the way. So then you got Marquette, Vermont. Go ahead and advance Marquette. Now this is a little risky, and why this is why you'll get a little different here. By having FSU eliminated, you can be very different because you can pick, Marquette, who might get eliminated against Murray, but now you have him here, and now you have him in the Sweet 16. So ultimately, it's all good stuff. It's making us different. That's ultimately the goal. I want you to use this video to help you. I don't want you to copy this verbatim. You can. I mean, I could really give a shit, but I want you guys to use this to help you to really be diverse about how you want to do things. Now, before we do this in the round of 32, give you some stats here. All one seeds that advance all one seeds into the Sweet 16, unless you have a very good reason not to. 86% make it to the Sweet 16. Advance at least one double-digit seed into the Sweet 16. 32 of 34 years has seen at minimum one double-digit seed in the Sweet 16. No seed worse than 12. No seed worse than 12 into the Sweet 16. Only 1.6% that advance are seeded 13 or worse into the Sweet 16. So don't be putting anybody 13 or higher into your Sweet 16, at least based on history anyway. So, okay, so we talked about the round of 32, Sweet 16. Well, we're not there yet, so let's stick to the round of 32. Okay, so Buffalo, Texas Tech. This is where the blowjob fest is going to continue. I love everything about Buffalo. That team is so good. I don't know if you've watched them. I know they're against the spread record is pretty good, but this team is just so talented and for so many reasons. And Texas Tech plays great defense. They might be able to stifle them a bit, but man, Buffalo should be able to overcome it. They have so much depth. They're so big inside. They have so many guys that shoot the three. They can really extend the defense, and they're so good defensively as well. Force a lot of turnovers. Again, that frantic pace. For me, Texas Tech goes down here. We'll go Buffalo. Now, again, from a spread perspective, the number would have to make sense for me to bet Buffalo. But if I'm trying to be diverse, we're going Buffalo there. Florida, Michigan. This should be a really good game. I think a lot better than people think. But ultimately, I'm going to push Michigan through. Now, Sweet 16, some notes. Exactly 3 number ones put into the Elite Eight. 71% of number one seeds make it into the Elite Eight. No team worse than an 11 seed should be in your Elite Eight. 26 seeds worse than 11 have made the Sweet 16, but only one Elite Eight team out of a total of 280 had been seeded worse than 11. So no seed worse than 11 passed this round. Now, Gonzaga, Marquette gonna go ahead and pick Gonzaga. I think just based on they have a very soft schedule. I'm not in love with Gonzaga, but I think they have a very soft path here. Ultimately, that's why we're picking them. And Buffalo, for me, I'm just going to continue it. Telling you, love this team. This is one of my dark horses. So I'm going to go on a whim here and put them over there. Now, the Elite Eight advance exactly 1 or 2 number one seeds into the Final Four. The Final Four has included exactly 1 or 2 number one seeds 27 of 34 years. Advance no double-digit seeds into the Final Four. Only 5 of 160 Final Four teams since 1979 have been seeded worse than number 9. Final Four round. We're not there yet. So okay, so Buffalo, Gonzaga. I think if it gets to here, if this is the actual matchup that happens, this will be a tremendous game. These are two teams that play extremely fast. They are two teams that do a lot of this. Have a lot of similarities. Ultimately, I'm going to continue this love for Buffalo. Truly believe it's an underrated team in this tournament. So I'm going to go ahead and bang Buffalo. Put them right into the Final Four. Whoops. Put them right into the Final Four. That should have us, let's see. Yep, so we got Duke, Final Four. We're good there. Okay, perfect. Let's scroll back up to the top here. Move my fucking head out of the way. Okay, UVA, Webb. So let's go. Definitely UVA. I'm not even going to discuss this game. Okay, so Mississippi, Oklahoma, another interesting spot here. Ultimately, I think this is another coin flip spot. I think it could be a little different here. I don't think it's going to matter. Whoever you're going to pick is going to lose the next round. I think more or less people will be taking Mississippi, given the chance to give you the chance to take Oklahoma. So I will here. Just again to be a little different. Now 12-5 seed, here's where I'm going to strike. Now I know that there's a lot of people that are also picking Oregon. The 12-5 is always so popular, but Wisconsin has just been tough to follow. And Oregon is arguably the hottest team entering this tournament. Go ahead and take Oregon there. Kansas State, UC Irvine. So this has been a popular pick from many as well. This is not going to be a spot where I go crazy. I'm not going to follow the trends here. I'm going to go ahead and say Kansas State. Now, Villanova, St. Mary's. St. Mary sneaks into this tournament on a whim, on a win against Gonzaga. Villanova is obviously going to get a lot of love, and look, the game's in Connecticut, so there's just a lot of things that favor Nova here. I think this is going to be a very close game, but ultimately I do believe Nova is going to pull this out, so I'm going to go ahead and pick them there. Here we have Purdue, Old Dominion. Old Dominion cannot score at all. They're very good defensively, but they are actually, absolutely awful at scoring the ball. So we're going to go ahead and move myself a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and pick Purdue here, just because I think over the course of the game, Old Dominion is just not going to be able to keep up. They're not good offensively at all. Cincinnati, Iowa. Now Cincinnati is a team that plays tremendous defense. They've had a great season. What concerns me about them is they go through droughts where they don't score. In Iowa, what are they good at? They're good at scoring. I just think that there's a few different factors here. The line's fair from a betting perspective, but I'm trying to figure out which team I think has a better chance of closing this out. I'm going to go Iowa just because, again, I like the fact that they can put the ball in the basket. Cincinnati cannot. So that's why I'm going there. Tennessee, Colgate, not going to go crazy here. We'll just go ahead and roll Tennessee. Now, let's go back up to the top. Virginia, Oklahoma. Oklahoma is not the type of team that can beat Virginia. Virginia will have spots where they could lose here. This will not be one of them. Oregon, Kansas State. Now, Kansas State's had a good year, but they have not had a good finish to the year. They are going to be playing without Dean Wade. But with that said, I think this is another tough matchup for them. I'm going to go ahead and advance Oregon into here. Again, you want to be different. You want to start plugging holes. And again, in the Sweet 16, you don't want to have a worse seed than an 11, but you still want to make sure you're moving some of the higher seeds in, something to differentiate yourself. So Villanova, Purdue. Purdue's not getting a lot of love from the public here. And again, this game will be in Connecticut. I think that ultimately that's why I'm going to side with Villanova here as an upset. So give me them there. Tournament experience, Jay Wright. We're going to go in that direction now. Iowa, Tennessee. Look, Iowa's had a decent year. Tennessee's had a great year. It's had some ups and downs, but I think that people have a bad taste in their mouth over that last Tennessee game against Auburn. But for teams not named Auburn, Tennessee's had quite a good year. I'm going to go ahead and play Tennessee here, have them move on. Virginia, Oregon. This is going to be a layup for Virginia. It's going to be a good matchup. Oregon slows the game down. They're just a less good Virginia, so Virginia's an easy pick for me here. Villanova, Tennessee. This game, this could be a really good game. I think that Villanova's going to slow them down. Tennessee's going to try to speed things up. I think ultimately this game is not going to be in let me see if they show the location. They don't here. But I know this game will not be in Connecticut, so I'm going to go ahead and favor Tennessee as Villanova removes themselves from home court advantage. I'm going to push Tennessee into it. So ultimately, yes, we do have a 1-2 matchup here, our first 1-2 matchup of the selections, and ultimately we will be taking Virginia to advance past Tennessee. This makes 3 of our 4 Final Fours complete. So now we go to the bottom right, the Midwest. North Carolina, Iona. Iona is not their typical Iona self, so we're going to go ahead and pick North Carolina. Not that we were going to not do it anyway. Utah State, Washington. First of all, I love these scenarios when everybody is talking about one team. Everybody can't stand Washington, and everybody loves Utah State. These are the scenarios where you want to make sure you're diverse. Again, remember, there is so much randomness to this tournament. You don't want to buy in too much of the public hype because you will end up with the same results as the public. So for me, despite the bigger spread, I'm going to go with Washington. It's a fair line, but again, I want to be different in certain aspects. Auburn, New Mexico State. I think this is another one of those spots where I'm going to take the 12. This is a real questionable spot for Auburn. Auburn's going to be playing at above. They're going to be playing way above sea level at that 4,800 whatever. It's that high elevation that makes a team like Auburn who goes there struggle and start to get tired down the stretch. Now New Mexico State's played a few different games up in there, and then they play themselves 3,800 feet above sea level, so they're accustomed to dealing with that. So that's why I'm going to take them here. Now again, the spread's fair. I'm seeing the spread at 6. I don't really know which side I really lean or like in that matchup, but for me, if I'm going to pick a spot where I'm going to be diverse, again, it's going to be here. I do believe this is going to be a somewhat popular pick, but you can't pick every 12 seed. I mean, you could, but you really wouldn't want to do that. But either way, that's where I'm going to be different here. Now, Northeastern, Kansas. First of all, you guys, for those that watch the channel, know that I've been watching a lot of Kansas games this year. I am also a big Northeastern fan. This team is so good. Arguably, from an efficiency standpoint, the best offensive team in the country. This team shoots the three ball very well. This team shoots inside three-point range very well. They're like 5th overall in KenPom's effective field goal percentage. This team scores. They ball out. They have a bunch of ballers on this team, a bunch of guys that can really put the ball in the rim. Now, what does worry me a bit inside, they do not get offensive rebounds. Kansas could give this team some fits inside. If the ball's not bouncing their way, Kansas could absolutely dominate the offensive glass and get a bunch of easy putbacks. But man, Northeastern gets off the bus hitting threes. They get off the bus driving to the lane, getting easy layups. They move the ball better than most in the country. So going to go ahead and have an upset here. Northeastern, another 13 upset. Okay, Iowa State, Ohio State. This is another one of those spots where I love to differentiate myself. You have Iowa State, conference tournament victory, Big 12. Everybody loves them, and Ohio State, who arguably shouldn't even have been in this tournament. When lightning strikes like that, you want to just fade the shit out of it. So let me fade. I feel like everybody's going to be leading Iowa State here, but give me Ohio State. Really differentiate myself. Now, if you look at this is starting to really turn out into some corner here. Ultimately, Houston, Georgia Southern, they've had a great year. Or Georgia State, sorry, they've had a great year. But look, Houston just had a tremendous year. So, I mean, I love everything about what Houston's done. And for the guys I've watched, I've been on a few different Houston games. Really like those, some of those teams from the American Conference. So give me Houston here. Very good team. Very good team. So Wofford, Seton Hall. For those that don't know, Wofford, the Terriers, that's why they get that name, Wofford. It's not pronounced that way. It's actually Wofford. But this is one of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. This team has 4 guys that shoot over 41% from three-point range, 5 guys that shoot over 39%. This team is just literally filled with sharpshooters. This team has dominated their conference all year. Wofford hasn't lost a game since I believe it's like December 15th or something like that. They have 20 straight wins, dominated their conference tournament. This team is playing with a hell of a lot of confidence. Now, Seton Hall's a good team, and they probably match up decently well here, but I just feel like this is really, when you get a mid-major that's ranked this high, it's for the right reason. And Wofford's ranked even higher in KenPom's ranking, so give me them here to pull off a win against Seton Hall, and what'll probably be a very close game. Kentucky and is it Alcorn University? Alcorn. Abilene Christian, and ultimately I'm not even going to break this game down. Kentucky's going to roll there. Okay. So we scroll back up here and we look at how we could be diverse, right? Now, North Carolina, I think, beats Washington. Washington, is they have their own struggles that they deal with. So I'm going to go North Carolina there. New Mexico State, Northeastern. Again, guys love Northeastern, so I'm going to keep rolling that bandwagon. Ohio State, Houston. Houston is so good. I can't stress this enough. I know that some people know this. People who watched them. This team is a complete team in all assets. And they have a star in Corey Davis. So I'm going to go ahead and select Houston. Kentucky, Wofford. Look, I think this is going to be a great game, but I think Kentucky's length is going to be a real problem for Wofford. So I'm going to go ahead and play Kentucky. Then if we go here, I think this is where the road ends for Northeastern. So we're going to go ahead and say North Carolina. North Carolina is doing what Northeastern does. They're just a lot better at it. And here, going to have a little upset here with Houston beating Kentucky. And then going to have Houston beating North Carolina. Now, as it relates to the Final Four, you want to advance. No team that's worse than a 6 seed. Only 2 championship games have had any teams worse than a 6 seed. And do not advance 2 number 1 seeds into the championship game. 1 versus 1 finals have only happened 8 times in 40 years. So here's what we have here right now. We have Duke versus Buffalo. Duke, Buffalo, Virginia, Houston. So I'm going to go ahead and say this is where Buffalo run ends. Select Duke. And on this side from Virginia, Houston, I really like this Houston team. I know Virginia's good. Virginia always seems to find ways to struggle this time of year, though. I think Houston really prevails there. And then Duke versus Houston, give me Duke. I know it's a little chalky in that respect. Tiebreaker score, I don't fucking know, 70 to 64. I'm going to check any of those dumbass boxes. So ultimately, that's what the bracket's going to look like. I'll give you one more peek at it so you can see throughout. Here's what I like, and I did some pre-work before this video, so it wasn't like I did this completely on a whim. But ultimately, don't use this to reflect any bets or anything like that because, first of all, this is not done from an analytical perspective. This is all done virtually on a hunch, some eye test stuff, some spots where I want it to be diverse from the public. Again, this was more or less how to fill out a bracket, not how to bet on the tournament. So use this to your advantage and, understand that I really like Buffalo and I'm really high on Houston and I'm probably higher than most on Northeastern. So, feel free to use that to your advantage. And remember, sign up to BetDSI. I'll put the link in the description. They're going to give you a free bracket. All you have to do is create your own login name. And if you deposit, use promo code JJ right here. They'll match you up to 100%, all the way up to $1,000. It's free money. If you deposit $1,000, you get a free $1,000. So, don't be silly, guys. Sign up. And if you have any issues with getting your bonuses or anything like that, just let me know. I'll definitely help you out. But other than that, I want to thank you guys for watching the video. I know I think this is the longest video I've done on the channel. But I wanted to give you my breakdowns of the games and give you some perspective and give you some stats around it. And who I liked. I think Duke is going to be your chalky play, but I think you'd be crazy to pick against them in this tournament. The two best players in college happen to both be on the same team, and that's of course Duke with Barrett and Zion. So, don't go crazy with trying to fade the public by not picking Duke. Pick other spots to be different. You see how I did it. I picked other spots to be different. I advise you to do the same, to pick different spots. Don't clone this. I mean, this is random variance. Anything can happen. But pick your own spots where you're going to be different. But I myself, I wouldn't be different in picking your national championship team being Duke. So other than that, I want to thank you guys for watching the video. I know this video went super long. I hope you found it informative. Again, I want to help you guys out, get some bonuses. I want you guys to gain from this channel. And again, right now we're going to be able to do that for you with BetDSI. Really love using them, and I hope you guys will as well. Grab the bonus, grab the free money, grab the free bracket. You don't even need to deposit money to get that free bracket, so you'd be silly not to. But if you deposit money, they'll match you 100% up to $1,000. So again, want to thank you guys for watching the video. Please subscribe if you're not. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up, and I will be back again with probably another spring training video fairly shortly. Okay, thanks again, guys, for watching, and I'll see you soon.